Oh man, what's up, everybody? So we just got back. We're officially day one done with Venice, Italy. We got here yesterday, and we did dinner, but we got here like late. We got here like 6, 7 o'clock, and then showers and all that stuff, and then we had a nice meal. But today was the first day we really went out and just hoofed it around. We did like a marathon today. Or half marathon. We did like 12.3 miles. I don't know what a marathon is. Look at me. What do I look like? I do marathons? I don't do marathons. But yeah, we're hanging out here. As you can see, I've got some fancy art right behind me. That's kind of cool. We're in the Gritty Palace, and it is a pretty impressive hotel. They were even nice enough here to give me wine for free because I ball like that. So, it's really good wine though. So it's pretty dope. I thought I'd start doing like videos a day, and what better day to start them than today, right? I mean, perfect time. Talk about what we did, maybe a few minutes each day, and just share it online. But so we hit up some of the basics, right? So we hit up the Piazza de San Marcos, which is right by the hotel. It's just down the strip. And right now it's carnival season, so carnival's going on, right? And with carnival going on, everyone's dressing up. So you see all the masks. Well, we posted some online, and you can see it on Backpack Social and on our Facebook feeds and then Instagram. So anywhere that we have social media, we're out there. But yeah, everyone's all wearing these cool masks, and then you have these people in like full get up, like full dress to the nines, costumes, probably running at least $1,000, right? Like they're just legit next level doing it right? And we walked for a while. We walked past the Piazza. We walked down the strip. And the best way to explain that whole area was, well, the Piazza in San Marcos, if you've ever been to Epcot, World Showplace in Italy, it literally is a miniature version of that area. Like, it is legit 100% that space. Here, I'm going to put the phone down here. So it's like legit that area, right? So pretty cool in that case. Here, let me see if I can't make this a little better. Make it where I'm not as massively sitting in the camera. So yeah, so that was, well, that didn't work either. We'll keep going higher up. There we go. There we are. That's better. So yeah, so we're sitting there, and then it looks like Epcot. From there, we start going down further, and it starts to look more like Tokyo Disney Sea. There's a hotel called the Miracosta Hotel, and that's the entrance of Tokyo Disney Sea. And when you're inside that park, it has this whole Mediterranean like look, and just sitting in Venice and on that strip there, the Grand Canal, really, that's what it looks like. So it's pretty dope. I'm drinking a lot today, but this wine is fucking primo. So we started walking down there, and we kept seeing these like every once in a while we'd see like 2 or 3 people all dressed up, all heading that kind of direction. So we started just to kind of follow their path, and we end up running into this crazy like paparazzo feeding frenzy of sharks of people taking photos. I'm talking fancy cameras, people like busting out the old school digital cameras taking photos, like old Nona's doing it. And everyone there had a like full costume on, and it was insane. Like there were so many of them. I'm talking like a couple. There had to be at least 50, 60, maybe even 100 there. There was a ton of them, and they all had different really themed ones. Some of the ones I really liked was we have this one that's all like purplish, and he had like a swan on his head, and we'll post those photos so you'll see them. Those were pretty cool. What else did we see? There was one that had kind of like an anvil, almost like a hammerhead shark. There was one that looked like an armadillo. I thought that was pretty weird. I think the next time I use this camera, I need to like switch so the camera like lights here, so I'm constantly looking, because I'm looking here and my camera feeds over here. So I should be looking like right here like a professional, but I keep looking over here like a moron. So the next video I'll switch it so I'll look smart and I won't look dumb. But yeah, we spent a good 45 minutes there just like taking in the atmosphere. And it was crazy. Just people were just obsessed with taking photos. They loved it. They had a blast, and it was really creative. And all these people were dressed up, and you could just walk in, you just put your photo in. They would pose like that was what they were there to do. So then from there, we decided to weave our way back to San Marco, and we just went through different streets and stuff. And it was the one thing I thought was the most realistic was to know you're in a city was laundry. And by that I mean people they don't use dryers. They air dry their laundry. So they'll have their two windows, and they'll have hooks, and they'll have the old drawstring, and you just take the string, you put all your laundry out, it dries, you bring it back in. And you would see like 4 or 5 windows all with laundry, around them. And this backdrop just looked like something you'd see like in a movie set or in like a video game or something. It was just insane how it looked. It just didn't look real. So we weaved our way in and out of there, and we got back to the Piazza of San Marco, and there they had this huge stage, and the stage kind of looked like 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, like it was Nemo, Captain Nemo's ship. It had that kind of look to it. Had a big screen in the background, and we saw it earlier and it was empty, and this time it was tons of people surrounding it, and apparently they were having a contest of people dressed up, and they said, "Are you ready for Carnival?" I think is what we kind of figured out was what it was about. And it was all these people wearing their costumes. The cutest one was a girl dressed like a unicorn, right? The little kid, she had a unicorn outfit. And it wasn't like the fancy costume you see. She was just rocking out an old school, like, full onesie unicorn head. Dancing around there like, she's ready for Carnival. But there was tons of people, and they would all line up, and they take this, like, royal procession walk to the stage. And it was so impressive. I think of that probably being at the same level as when I went to Zurich. When we were in Zurich, they had carnival-type festivals, but they had a huge parade. And the one thing that was the most ridiculous, there was this one where they had a cart, and it was full of hay, and these demons. And what I read the story was Krampus. So they're dressed like Krampus, and Krampus steals children. So they would run up to kids and grab the kid and throw him in the hay. And instead of people going, "How dare you touch my child?" people were like, "Ah, Krampus got him, bye." And they were laughing. The kid was laughing. And then they get out of the hay and they'd run back to their parents. If that was in America, that guy'd be arrested right now. Like, "How dare you steal my children? This Krampus guy's touching kids." But I thought it was dope. Like, I would have loved to have been a kid. Grabbed by Krampus, thrown in the hay, and he keeps throwing him and throwing hay on him. But then they make sure the kid gets back safely, and it's all good. So I thought it was, that was years ago. I'd love to go back to Zurich now. Zurich is really expensive because if you look at what they call the Big Mac scale, right? I know a fat guy talking about McDonald's, what the fuck, right? But the Big Mac scale, the cost of a Big Mac is the idea of the scale of how expensive a city is. And Zurich's like top 3 or top 2, like most expensive place for a Big Mac. So you got to be mindful of having it. So, yeah, because of the price, not because it can kill you if you eat poorly your whole life. I'm not saying I do. I know, I'm a big guy, drinking wine, whatever. Just to show you the wine we got. This was it's a Monacosta Val Policelli Classical DOC. I don't know what that means, but it's mossy. It's only a 2017, but when I think about it, like only 2017, it's 2019, so it's an older wine, but the flavor is really good. It's a really cool wine. None of it is in English, so... Actually, no. Bonacosta, the foot of the hillside vineyards in the Classico zone. Classico. Richer in topsoil, benefit from soft valley breezes and excellent exposition. So if anyone says, "Hey RJ, how do you look so well?" I'm going to say, well, it's the soft valley breezes and the excellent exposition that gives me this lovely glow. I think that would be dope ass to say to somebody. So anyway, we got back to the hotel at noon, and the reason we got back so early from our day, about 2 hours in, was because we had to get Gabby's luggage, right? So unfortunately, last night we're at the airport in the afternoon, And I grab my bag and we're waiting for hers, and it doesn't show up. But we see people around us hanging out, right? That we were on the flight with, and they're waiting still. So it's like, okay, maybe we're not done. Well, the baggage thing says it's been completed. So she hops over there, and we find out it's still in Frankfurt where we connected. So we didn't have the flight. We didn't have the luggage. So needless to say, it didn't come last night, right? And they said, well, if it's not here between 12 and 2:30 this afternoon, it won't be here till like 5 to 7 p.m. that night. So roughly to say, having only like one set of clothes and stuff, it was freaking everybody out because what do? We gotta go to, we're flying out, not flying out, but we're taking a train out to Verona tomorrow before we come back. You kind of need to change your clothes. So it ended up being right there, like 12:30, boom, luggage is here, hooray! We celebrate and we get back on the road. And we hooked it again, and we walked a pretty good distance. We went to the Rialto Bridge. So the Rialto Bridge it's just a huge bridge in the area. It crosses the Grand Canal. It connects two of the little provinces. I guess they're like the regions, the sections of Venice, right? So we're in the San Marco section. It connects to another section, and it's a big bridge. It's pretty cool because it kind of made me think of Florence. So in Florence, they have a bridge and they have a bunch of shops on it. It was very similar. You go up the bridge, there's shops on each side of the bridge. And then, of course, on the Rialto, they have all these restaurants that are very popular. And on that cross that bridge, there's a lot of places they call it, I think it's called Sacchetti. You buy a drink in the afternoon, in the evening, and they have finger foods. And you can just eat. It's all included. As long as you keep drinking, you keep eating, which sounds pretty cool. So we're going to be checking that out tomorrow night after Verona. But we checked that area out. We walk around, and we found this really cool restaurant. And I can't remember the name of it now, but we'll make sure to post it because I got a photo of it. But the place was a really cool little stop. It was very hipster. I think Brooklyn, right? I don't mean hipster like we only serve vegan, pet-friendly foods here. Like, no, it's nothing like that. It's like it was more hip. It was younger. The music was fresh. Like they were playing like Italian hip hop, which I don't even know what that is, but it was pretty cool. Then they had some class music. Like you could see like a younger guy sitting there. He knew the whole words of the song, and he was saying it to his friend. He was actually explaining the song to his friend. So that was pretty interesting. But the food was really good, and we had what's called a spritz. And a spritz is basically you have a bitter with sparkling water, and I think you also do like champagne or a sparkling wine, right? Sparkling. Why did I say that? Sparkling wine. So you have it with a sparkling wine. And from there, you enjoy it, right? But Campari is really weird because it's not Campari, but it's like that. There's types of things that are similar to it. So it was really bitter. And what surprises me is that Gabby isn't really into bitter stuff. So she hates like Negronis or Campari, but that drink she's like, oh no, it's good. So I guess it cut the bitterness out. So, and then they had Leff, Leff beer. I got a big one of those with little sandwiches. So it was a pretty cool place. But it was weird, like when I went to Google it to like get the place because I wanted to put it and mention it in my stuff and tag it so I could reference it later. I couldn't find the restaurant. So when I went to Google Map it, I looked at the front of the restaurant, and it looked like a totally different restaurant than what we went to. So we think it opened just recently. So we ended up happenstance walking back that way later in the afternoon and grabbing it. From there, we went to this really cool, it's called Il Santo Bevatore, I think, Il Santo Bevatore pub, which is a craft beer bar. And they do a lot of Belgian beers, but they had a lot of Italian beers too, and they had some really cool ones. There's one I was really impressed with called Mobster from Lucky Brew. So if you ever heard of Lucky Brew, they do Mobster. They have one called Whale, but their branding is really cool. Like the Mobster was a hyena in like an Al Capone gangster type costume, and then the Whale reminded me of like Pinocchio. So I think their theming works really well with their style of food or style of beer. I've had a few of these, so it's fine. So from there, we're hoofing it back to the hotel, right? And it's time to eat something because it's not late yet, but it's not early. And we probably should eat because if we go back to the hotel, we try to find something small, we might get hungry later. So I find this restaurant called Rosa. I guess it's like Red Rose. I'm not sure. But it did basic cuisine. So we said, okay, let's head over there and check it out. So we're following the directions of the map. We're hanging this, we're hanging that. So 4 minutes away, really close to where we ate last night. And Gabby's ahead of me, and she turns to the corner and goes, oh, here's the restaurant right here. So we go in, and it's a very, what would you say? It was like a...
Very authentic.
Yeah, authentic. Like very like run-of-the-mill, like a basic Italian restaurant. Like very like chill, very casual. And we both got a little pizza. She got the margarita. I got the caponola with the mushrooms and the sausage. It was really good, and onions. It was pepperoni. It wasn't sausage. They did pepperoni. And we had a great meal at the restaurant. So shout out to those guys. However, I can't say shout out to Rosa because when we left the restaurant, I look over and there's the sign for it. I went, we didn't go to the right restaurant. We ate at a totally different restaurant. I don't even remember the name of it, but it was delicious. So I'll definitely make sure I tag it with something later on tonight. So that was pretty much it. We're back at the hotel now. I got to go tape up my toes like I'm a kickboxer. Doing a half marathon today has worn me out, but I'm super pumped. We're heading to Verona tomorrow. I have no idea what's in Verona. And we're also going to do the cicettis, right? The little finger foods. We're going to drink. Now, Gabby doesn't really drink. I kind of drink a little bit. So I have a feeling I'm going to drink her drinks and my drinks so we can try finger foods everywhere. So that's it for day one. It was fun. It was exciting. I'm going to drink some more of this Bonacasta wine. And I plan to stay fresh from my Soft Valley breezes and an excellent exposition. So thanks again. We'll see you tomorrow.